Hello and welcome to another episode of Do Go On. My name is Dave Warnock and I'm here with Jess Perkins over there. Hello, Jess.
Hello, Dave.
And the standing manding, Mr. Matt Stewart.
Hey, Dave, I'm standing.
We're not sure why.
Some people at work have standing desks. Have you ever seen those?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's for my posture.
Yeah, they're very good for you ergonomically.
Your Matt's doing a standing pod.
But it's
He actually is standing up.
Do you think it's kind of intimidating? Because we have to look up at him now.
Yeah, and
Is it a power play?
He's the tallest man on the show.
He's already
anyway.
the tallest. Yeah. Is it a power play? Do you think?
Yeah. I'm gonna take
Well,
this
to be
over.
honest,
It's mutiny.
he's having a sip of beer, so I reckon it's actually just so you can sneak out and get beers more easily.
Which I'm okay with, and get us ones if you're doing that. Great, thank you.
I'm already getting tired.
Do you want to sit down
No,
there?
you're fine.
Yeah,
I'm
I'll
gonna
let you sit down.
all right.
Yeah, right.
Probably-
There we go, little buddy. Come back down to our level.
Would have been great just if you'd pulled the chair out from under him
Oh, no.
and we heard him fall over live.
Matt, maybe stand up again, just no reason.
Okay, all right. Well, I mean, it's a little unconventional,
No,
but
just
I'll
off you
give it
go.
a go.
All right.
Whoa!
And he's up.
Timber!
I mean, down.
If a Matt falls in a podcast studio and no one's around to see it, did it happen?
That is a thinker.
I'll come back to you next week with a report
Exciting.
on the topic. Jess, you're not coughing this week.
Well, don't jinx it. I still am dying.
Yeah,
Just-
you
just-
were coughing moments ago.
Hashtag, what was it? Jess Health Update, I
Yes.
think, which is very sweet.
We've had a couple of people asking.
People and somebody said, pray for Bop. Hashtag pray for Bop. Probably one of my favourite hashtags that's ever happened. I am better. I'm on steroids and antibiotics.
We had the Real Comic Heroes podcast make a little... we really enjoyed that, which we put on the Instagram of you dressed as She-Hulk,
I've shown so many people that.
all roided up. Really, you're quite proud of that.
Oh, I love it. I think it's great. I look great in green.
The man behind that podcast is a graphic designer, and he messaged me, PM'd me. Is it DM or PM?
Well, both fine.
Both, all right, great.
Direct or private message, both fine.
AM.
He
AM.
AM'd you.
He
Anally messaged you.
he what now?
Nothing.
Okay.
Is that what AM stands for? Anal message?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it did come up through my butt, so it makes sense.
I thought it was anti-modular.
But he was saying he's a graphic designer, and he was a bit embarrassed because he rushed it, and it should have been a lot better. I'm like, that is a lot. Have you seen the ones I'm putting together?
Have you seen Matt's Paint or whatever you're using?
Microsoft Paint, 1996.
Hey, look, I just laughed and didn't cough. So to answer your question, yeah, I'm on the mend.
So I'm actually interested by the steroid type thing. What's the go there?
I'll be 100% honest. The doctor did explain it, and I'm not entirely sure. It's a fairly normal treatment for asthma.
I always tune out when the doctor has said we can fix it with this thing. I'm like, great.
You've said you fixed
You've said
it.
enough.
It's something
Okay,
to do with
and then they
like,
explain, and I'm like, yep,
Yeah.
yep. Prescription, please.
and then I'll just go and get it. Yeah, it's something to do with like opening up the airways better.
What to strengthen the airways? They
It's
need
not-
to get rippled.
I don't know what I'm gonna
Rippled.
be.
I meant ripped.
I got rippled
I
airways.
think rippled will help.
Hey, everything's worth trying once.
Okay. Dave doesn't normally drink on the podcast.
Yeah, and there's a reason why. But I was.
Yeah, that's right. And I'm going to be reporting too.
He's getting absolutely rippled.
He's going to be well rippled.
Does that ripple your fancy?
I was out for lunch with a friend before this and had a jug of Pimm's, so
La-di-da.
and got some more drinks on the way
Do you think you
because
would've-
just continue the
Do you
party.
think you would have been able to handle that pre-steroids?
Oh, no,
You
it's
couldn't-
changed me.
You could not lift that jug.
It's changed me.
And now
Yeah,
you're a She-Hulk of a woman.
yeah,
There's a compliment.
yeah. Thank you.
It's also this will be our hottest podcast yet, I think.
Do you reckon?
What is it, 32 today?
Yeah, it's pretty warm. That's why.
Celsius.
Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you. God,
Which
what
I
is
don't
that?
know what it is in Fahrenheit. I think it's 3006.
Yeah, I think that's about right from my math.
Yeah, that sounds like the
You're the
weird
math one, Dave.
fucked up scale that they use
I
over
think it's
there.
like, isn't it plus 30 and then some?
Oh, no,
Isn't it?
no.
It's some weird...
It's 89 degrees.
89 degrees.
Which
so
is
it's
a
not that
cool-
hot.
I
yet.
did say plus 30 and then some.
What was
so
that?
I'm not wrong, am
No,
I?
you're not wrong.
What was
Dave?
that? What was that Nick Lachey?
Dave, apologise.
Sorry, but I will make it up with a Nick Lachey reference. What was that Nick
The
Lachey boy
guy
band? How many
married
degrees?
to Jessica Simpson.
How many
Was it?
degrees was his band?
98, I think. I always thought that was like an angle thing, more like a geometry.
Yeah, rather than
reference.
temperature. Oh, yeah, I definitely would have thought so.
Oh, 98. Did you not think that was heat?
No, I definitely would have thought.
No, that was slightly like it's a right angle gone slightly wrong.
Yeah.
Well, that were the bad boys of geometry.
What was their debut album was called Hypotenuse. Is that
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
I think like a great trigonometry reference to break Jess's out into coughing.
That's very funny.
Hype.
Well, 98 degrees is
Hot and-
36 degrees. So we're
Hot
nearly...
news.
Hot news. Yeah.
Don't believe the hype. Is that what you said? I enjoyed that.
No, you improved it, actually.
I was going to say claim it.
Look, I
Say
actually
that
thought... I didn't think you said it, but then I thought, hang on. Well, he would have said it because that was the joke, right? And then no, I did improve it. I improved it.
one. Well done. Thank
Look,
you for always
I mean,
improving your jokes.
I think you spoon-fed it a little. I left a little work to be done.
Yeah, that's right. You set it up and I spiked it.
I'm the IKEA of comedy.
It was an alley-oop.
But you give us the pieces.
You build it yourself.
Put it together.
Yeah.
It was an alley-oop. You know, Matt sort of lifted it up and you just, bang, dunked it in.
Is that what an alley-oop is?
Yes.
Yeah. It feels like we're taking it longer than normal to get to the show.
I'm okay with that.
Okay. And another thing that we've been getting a little bit of correspondence about is people who are genuinely excited about getting Christmas cards with your toe print on them.
Oh, no, that is going to be happening. If you are one of our Patreon supporters, nearly all of you will be getting a Christmas card from us with a personal message. And a few weeks ago, if you haven't heard that one, I promised to put my toe... What was the reason?
Well, hey, we don't know,
I think you were
Dave.
riffing, but...
We're going to put a toe print on there. And and Matt said, well, no one wants that. Jess said, no one wants that. We've had several tweets saying that they
They do.
only want it if it has the toe print on it.
Yeah, and so
And
are
Dave
you going to
also
write anything or just the toe print? Is that your
that's
contribution?
my contribution.
Now, the way we're going to do it is Dave's going to do his toe print, and then Jess and I are going to turn them into reindeer
Yeah.
and like little Santa
Yeah.
heads. And also, when you said nearly everyone will get them, is that like you're just picking out a couple of people you're saying not for you, mate?
Oh, no. So it's I think it's if you pledge $5 or more, anyone
right.
above that, which is nearly all the pledges. Most people have chosen to go for that. Or if you're not already involved, you have to sign up by December 15, and that is only because we want you to get it by Christmas, because we don't want to send it, on the 24th and you get it next year.
Yeah.
So, and
Man, I tell you, I fucking hate Christmas the day after. I love Christmas so hard.
And then you just
through
hate it.
December, but the day after, I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I'll wake up and I'll go out in the lounge room. There'll be a Christmas tree. I'm like, fuck off, Christmas tree.
if anything,
I don't care about you anymore. Get out of my house.
You've got to take it down.
well,
mate.
if anything,
Well, I don't want. Fucking fuck it off. I throw it out the front door.
Boxing Day morning.
Kick it. Get out of here.
decorations and all.
Yeah.
It's well, if you think about it, a lot Christmas. Well, Boxing Day should be the least Christmassy day of the year because it's the most time between now and the next Christmas. It
Yeah.
should be the least.
I'm smashing baubles against brick walls. I just hate it. I get nothing, there's very few things I go from love to hate so quickly. But like right
You do
now,
a
I
Perkins.
fucking love Christmas right now. I'm going down the street and there's decorations in the trees or whatever, and I'm like, yes.
And you're singing fa la 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 la.
But
Well, I
in
will
3
now.
weeks, you would punch someone from the Salvation Army in the face.
Yes, whether they are or not referencing Christmas in any way.
Just because of
Just-
the principle.
Yeah, the principle of it. I knew they were only recently excited about Christmas on some level.
Do you just throw out your
so was
Christmas
I, but-
presents? Throw them out.
Yeah,
Christmas
no,
presents.
chuck them out. I got no use for them.
Nah.
Hey, Dave, you're doing the topic this week,
Yeah,
right?
right.
And your
Alright.
topics go so long. We should really get into it.
Is that a complaint?
No,
No,
it's
just an
it's
observation.
a complaintment.
Matt's got his feet up.
Complaint.
He's nearly finished his beer.
Complaintment.
He's
How-
wearing shorts.
Can someone merge complaint and compliment together? to make-
Complaintment.
Okay, yeah.
That's what you'd
That's
already
what
done.
I'd already done it.
Or
Still-
compliment.
It was not as.
I like
that's-
compliment.
Yeah, that's better.
That's way better. I'm not offended anymore.
Compliment.
By Jess. Matt, your word is still fucked.
Jess
Alright,
saves
festive
the
boy.
day.
You got a couple more weeks till I get a big punch in the face, you dickhead.
December 26th, you're copping it in the dick.
Oh,
Look, to be honest, I was going to go for the face, but I'll take requests this
Right,
time.
my dick is wide open.
Oh my god!
1 day a year. Boxing Day.
Have you heard about this Amazonian fish? You probably have in your trivia life.
Oh.
That it's like I think it's a myth. I don't know if it's like a guaranteed myth. There's some sort of
a guaranteed
fish
myth.
that goes up your
Oh.
dick urethra. And if your dick's wide open on Boxing Day, I'd stay clear of the Amazon.
Yeah.
Because they go in there and then their spikes come out and then they eat your dick from the inside out. and then maybe go up inside your body and eat all of you out.
I'm pretty sure you've just exaggerated a lot. I think that they hook in with a barb and then you just can't get it out.
Are you planning on going to the Amazon at Boxing Day though?
I wouldn't.
December 26th, 2016. Been counting down all year.
Don't do it. Not while your dick's
Dave,
right.
And I'm scared of pissing on planes, but I love pissing into rivers.
Oh no, Dave, no.
It's a recipe for disaster.
Wait, so you reckon that's true? Even the swimming up your stream thing? That's not possible.
I don't think it's up the stream, but I reckon maybe if you urinate in the water.
But then
Sure.
they're going up force still. But I guess the piss is opening the urethra up.
I want to stop talking about this now. If we can be honest. I was having a really nice time.
Oh, okay. We're all having fun until the urethras come out.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well,
That has literally always been my saying.
okay, we'll get on to the topic. Question is, who has the world's biggest urethra?
Oh, that's another thing on
We got the myth?
Blue whale.
on Patreon. The new target is
Yeah.
if we reach the new target, we'll put Keen for Peen officially in the hat.
And you can vote for it.
In the
Golden
the
hat.
poll hat. So it'll be a 1 in 3 chance of getting up for an actual topic, which will be I don't know what I'll do with that.
There's
but
no chance of them not going for it. You realise that. You're writing off 2 other topics. You may as well just throw out some.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if everyone is that keen for Peen. I reckon we're putting it. I think they all think it's a bit of a funny joke,
But
but
will
when
they
it
listen
comes
to the
down to it, do
episode?
they want a whole hour and a half about me talking about dicks?
Jess doesn't because we talked about dicks for about 4 seconds there. She already turned
I
off.
already hate it.
Exactly, and I think that's what people are
It's just
like
not very
in the real world.
inclusive. I can't relate.
Well, I think that Matt and I are going to start a new
Wait,
podcast called...
everyone's got a urethra, right? Is that not true? I thought
that's
that was
right.
just the pee hole.
Yeah, I'm keen for peen.
Okay.
I can't relate to that, can I?
Well,
Okay.
let's change it to keen for pee hole.
That's nah. I don't like that either. Okay, there we go. Matt doesn't like poo jokes. I don't like urethra jokes.
I love them all.
Yeah, you're
Love 'em all.
sick.
Please do go on.
Okay, we've got the topic here. Now, this is our first episode to be drawn from our Patreon Golden Hat. So the deal there is if you sign up for Patreon to a certain level, it's called the Sydney Scheinberg Deluxe Package. Your topics go into a special golden hat, and we are obligated contractually to pick your topic. It also says we'll go in order of who's pledged.
Yeah.
Who's pledged for that. But our first pledger, if you're out there, Zach Steinbacher, I've emailed you. What do you want his topic to be? He was number 1.
Oh,
So Zach Steinbacher, you were the number 1 Sydney Scheinberg Deluxe Package signer-upper.
Jesus. It's a mouthful.
Get in contact if you would like us to do your topics. We have to go, it defaults to number 2
Right.
this week.
That's fair.
And the man, the magic, Rowan Epstein.
Rowan.
Rowan Epstein. I feel like, has he suggested a topic before? That name rings a lot of bells.
Does ring a bell.
Does
yeah.
he tweet a lot?
Maybe he's a frequent tweeter.
Just a bloody good
Yeah,
guy.
we know ya.
We know you, Rowan. Thank you very much.
We know ya.
So before I announce what your topic is, we'll start with the normal question. The question is, in April this year, we celebrated, it's a weird way of saying this, 400 years since whose death?
400 years.
Celebrated. Wait, what? I missed the start. I did zone
April
out a
this
little
year, it was 400 years since who died?
bit. April this year. So what does that
So
take us back to?
2016 to 1616.
1600s.
What do you know about the 1600s, Jess?
Sweet FA. Oh,
Sweet
Oh.
affair.
1600s.
Oh.
Is
Are
it like
we-
early America? Is it one of those
Is
like
it-
George Washington or
It
something?
is not George
are
Washington.
we talking about somebody British?
They are very British.
Okay.
Are we talking about somebody who perhaps wrote a few famous things?
Chaucer?
No, not Chaucer, but we are talking about a writer.
Are we talking about somebody who maybe, I don't know, built a theatre that looked a little bit something like a globe?
I know who it is.
All right, let's imagine.
Gwyneth Paltrow was in a movie about
Yep.
him.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. It is
Come on,
none
Maddie, you
other
can do it.
than Rafe Fiennes.
Rafe Fiennes.
or his
I knew
brother.
it.
What's his brother? His brother.
Ralph?
His brother Ralph. His parents had very limited amount of letters they were allowed to use.
What is his brother? Is it Jack Fiennes? Fucking hell, I can't even think of that.
Jeremy Fiennes. What's that even?
Jeremy Fiennes. I'm trying to think of Joseph Fiennes.
Joseph.
Anyway, there was a movie with Joseph Fiennes playing this character. who was a real life person, and that person died 400 years ago this April, and that was
William Shakespeare.
Shakespeare.
it is the bard William Shakespeare.
400 years.
Cool.
Rowan Epstein has suggested that topic. Thank you, Rowan.
That's a great topic.
I
think that's been in the hat as well, and it was also on my list of just like good topics to do.
Good
But
topic?
it's a big one. It's
I'm
a tough
curious
one.
It
about
is.
him because there's so much chat about him being maybe multiple people, or like him not being as good as people say he is.
Or
and stuff.
inventing like 90% of the words in the English language.
That's
as well.
pretty good.
It's pretty good.
I like how to do that.
I'm going to cover all those things.
I'm so
Words
sure.
like grape
Jessica.
and Daryl Oates and Hall.
Yep, he invented those. No,
Not Hall's first name because I couldn't think of it.
Daryl Hall.
Oh, okay. I couldn't.
John O?
It's Daryl Hall and John Oates.
Doral Hall.
Doral.
No, sorry, it's Daryl.
Shakespeare invented my name.
Jessica.
Really?
I didn't know. Is that
Jessica.
true?
Yes.
Are
is-
you absolutely sure
It
of
was
that?
first used in this spelling in The Merchant of Venice.
And his mum or his wife or his daughter or his cousin or someone has the same name as
Anne
a
Hathaway
current
is his
actor.
wife.
Yes, all right, great.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
His wife or
That-
daughter or mum or somebody he met once has a similar name to somebody who exists now.
Yep.
You already said it. Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yeah, he was
Gwyneth-
married. He's married to Gwyneth Paltrow, which is exciting. I mean, what an honour.
So it sounds like you guys know little bits there.
Yeah.
I was a drama nerd. I know a bit of Shakespeare.
A little bit of Shakespeare.
I went to the Globe Theatre 3 years ago when I was in London, and I bought this little badge that said "All the world's a stage," which is one of my favourite Shakespeare quotes. It's just this tiny little badge, cost like 50p. I was so excited, and then it was in my bag that was stolen later on the trip in Spain, so I don't have that badge anymore.
Oh, no.
But I think about it often.
What did you think about how that criminal was also on the world stage?
Wow.
He was just a villain in your life play.
Yeah, we all have many parts, as the saying goes.
And
So-
can I just ask, did you like that? Because that line comes from "As You Like It."
Very good.
Thank you. Thank you.
His
Also,
face.
a drama nerd.
You fully studied it.
I'm a bit of a... And I was happy that I got to do... That this topic came up. Because it's worrying opening up the golden hat to something you have to do.
Yeah.
And then seeing that come through, you think, "Phew, I'm having that.
Yeah, that's a good
I'm
one.
having that."
That's a good one. Well done.
I also went to the Globe this year in August. I saw Macbeth. It was great.
In
Very
the
good.
flesh. How's he doing?
He's
He's
looking pretty good for his age. I've gotta tell
Zombified.
you.
A friend of
Considering he
mine,
had his head chopped off over 400 years ago.
Bloody hell.
Looking good.
his wife directed the Taming of the Shrew that was being done at the Globe, and I was like, "What? You're directing Shakespeare at the Globe? What?" Very exciting.
How do they do that?
How did they do that? What do you mean?
How do they get that?
How they get that?
No, seriously, how do they get involved?
I've
Are
no
they a
idea.
very successful theatre director? Because that
Must be.
sounds very cool.
That sounds
No, they were
super
just
cool.
walking past and
And
they
they
were
was
like,
said, "Director
"Hey,
wanted.
anyone?
Inquire within."
You! We need someone now."
And she was like, "All right, yeah, I get
Well, I've
it."
never-
Kenneth Branagh was not available.
So they get the next
Is
best
Kenneth
thing.
Branagh getting mentioned?
He is not being mentioned.
What the
But
fuck?
he's directed a lot of Shakespeare. What do you like?
You fucked it. I'm done.
What would you like to know about Kenneth Branagh? I'll make it up.
Everything, please.
All right.
Well, just suggest it for the hat one day.
Yeah,
Alright.
put it in the hat, Matt. You've got the power. You could just make it up, pretend someone put it in.
We can add to the hat.
If we add to the hat, it only means the show goes on longer than it needs
Oh,
to.
no, we're just trying to get through it.
And
We're
how
just
long
trying
does
to get through it.
I'm sorry, Matt. How long does this show need to go for?
Well, at the moment, it's a few years yet.
Yeah. We are hundreds of topics away from finishing. All right. William Shakespeare
Shakespeare.
was born in Stratford-upon-Avon, a market town then featuring around 2,000 residents, about 160 kilometres or 100 miles northwest of London. The town at the time, as I paint the picture, was a centre for marketing, distribution, the slaughter of sheep, as well as for hide tanning and wool trading.
Main thing was marketing, though. So their marketing of the sheep slaughter was on point.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. They
They
had
had-
posters. They were
yeah.
on Instagram. They were across social media.
Yeah.
They were doing like flash mobs
Yeah.
with sheep
Oh, yeah.
in
yeah.
London.
Yeah.
Bring them down for the day. They'd be like, "Oh, look at this sheep," and then everyone would like join in, and then there was 400 people pointing at one sheep. Imagine seeing that at the station.
That would make me want to eat a sheep.
Yeah, you'd want to kill it and eat it.
Yeah.
Maybe
and
cook
tan
it.
the hide.
Yeah.
Wow.
Really,
What a town.
It was a great time. It was a great time to be alive. The exact date of birth is not known for William Shakespeare, but it's traditionally...
Is it because he doesn't really exist?
We will talk about that. Traditionally said to be April 23, 1564, but this could perhaps be because he died on April 23 and makes his life even more Shakespeare-like.
Sure, that he died on his birthday.
Yeah, people actually, that's one of the reasons they point to it.
I'd be pretty pissed.
It's around that time.
Sure.
You'd be pissed off if you died on your birthday.
Yeah.
Don't you reckon it'd be worse to not make it, right? Because you get to have another number on your and tally.
Then again, I do like when things are rounded up nicely, so
Yeah.
that would probably make me quite happy, actually.
Jessica Perkins, date of birth, date of death.
Bang.
Oh, how good would that look?
That'd
Especially
be
if you're
nice.
100
An even 120
exactly.
or 100.
my God.
Even better.
Just
If I was
imagine
99, I'd be so pissed. But I'd be dead, so I can't be that pissed. My brother got married on his wife's birthday. It was like her 30th birthday, and they got married. And she was totally fine with that. She's like, it's great. But I'm like, why would you want your anniversary and your birthday on the same day?
She doesn't like being the centre of attention. We would never
She doesn't.
understand.
No, you're right. She's a selfless person, and I don't understand that at all.
I'm born on my parents' wedding anniversary.
Are you?
And I ruined their day for many years.
Aw.
Because when you're a kid, you know, your 5th birthday is a big deal to you. I don't care about my parents' 12th wedding anniversary.
God,
Fuck
no. Fuck off, Mum and Dad.
At least it means you remember what it is.
Yeah,
I
true.
totally. It's very easy. But having said that, I often forget it because I'm thinking about myself because I, too,
Yeah.
am a selfish child from the 1990s.
My parents... Jigs. We have the same parents. You go first.
Mine, I don't know exactly when it is, but it's leading up to Christmas.
Sure.
I think they had a discount rate because it was like on a Tuesday before Christmas. or
Yeah,
something.
nice. My parents got married on my dad's parents' wedding anniversary, so they had the same wedding anniversary every year.
No, that's the
Creepy.
weirdest one so far.
Creepy.
That's the weirdest one.
Well, because then Mum had to like spend her anniversary with her in-laws every year.
That's really weird.
Dad's parents not that nice, so not nice, but
Oh
just
my
like
God.
didn't like Mum that much. So
Are they into podcasting? Are they alive?
they're gone.
They're gone.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
fine. And if any cousins are
Well,
listening,
You know, people
I'm
when they're
sorry.
dead, they're hooked into podcasts all the time.
Yeah.
That's what happened. That's my idea of heaven.
oh, now I'm going to get
Or hell,
haunted.
depending on how much you like this podcast.
Oh, now
Oh,
I'm
just
gonna get
this
haunted.
podcast.
This is the only one that
Yeah,
plays
the
this
afterlife.
out.
This is on loop. This is on loop forever.
No,
That
but
is
it's just cuts of my laugh.
And
so it's-
no, just because of your cough.
Anything that's the same over and over.
It's
There's nothing.
awful.
You couldn't. You know, whenever people say if you had one CD, it's like, which CD do you want to eventually hate? Is what they're asking you.
Yes.
Yeah,
That would ruin anything.
Yeah.
awful. Anyway, sorry. Do go on.
He is born around April 23 because he's baptized on April 26, and that is actually recorded. So it's somewhere around then. So he could have died on his birthday, possibly. He was the first son and first surviving child in his family. His father, John Shakespeare, was
Is he a surviving son? Because I'm pretty sure he died.
So
he was the first son.
Dave, I thought you were good at researching. so-
He was the
Dave.
first son to make it into his 50s.
oh,
Do I have to qualify that?
Yes.
Yes.
He had several.
I want you to read out all
He had
asterisks.
several sisters that died at 49. It's a weird thing.
His life is so fucked, eh?
That is fucked. It's fucked.
His father, John Shakespeare, was a successful glove maker, which is a little
Love
different to a
maker?
love maker. I've written that, and then I've also written, but por qué no los dos? Why not have both? Am I right?
You wrote that down?
Yeah, it's fucking right there.
And when you wrote that, did you like stop to pat yourself on the back? Like, well done,
I'm good.
Waterking.
Yeah, I was 200 words into the report, and I thought, I've done it again. No wonder they say your episodes are the best, mate.
I'm fine.
Willie Shake's mother was Mary Arden, the youngest daughter of
Creepy.
John's father's landlord.
John's father's landlord.
It took me a long time to imagine that.
Hang on. John's
John's
father's...
dad's landlord has a daughter, so he's like, "Wait, John, marry this bird."
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah.
Landlord, not
But
related.
it sounds weird at first, doesn't it? Sound like you're like, "Hang on,
Yeah.
brother and sister."
Yeah, no, it's fine.
The family were quite wealthy. He's a good glove maker as well. Glove maker. Not that there's any money in that.
Not
but
that his
still.
kids survive.
Plus 49. Shakespeare had 6 brothers and sisters that did make it. 6 brothers and sisters that made it to 49 or above.
Sure.
Shakespeare's father, although successful at glove making, was completely illiterate and for his signature just signed a drawing of a glove-making compass.
Oh, I was going to say of a glove, just a little hand.
No, it was close. It was a thing that you used to make embroidery on gloves. He would just draw that little symbol.
Man, that sounds harder than writing 2 letters.
Is there a name for a glove maker?
Just learn J.
Like, what's a hat maker?
A milliner?
Milliner.
Yeah,
I wonder what a
millinery.
glove is.
John Shakespeare, illiterate glove maker, love maker. He was also appointed to several municipal offices and served as an alderman, which is like a member of a municipal council in many jurisdictions.
Just
So
older.
he was older.
Mm-hmm. Got it.
So he was sort of like a judgy type person in the community.
Oh, yeah.
And then he would get high. He worked his way up. He became chief magistrate of the town council before falling on hard times for reasons unclear to history in 1576
Gambling.
when William was 12.
Gambling.
I like to blame it on William.
Okay.
What happens when you're 12?
William was gambling.
Yeah, that's right. He got into gambling.
William started pickpocketing. And then
History doesn't say yes or no, so I can't deny that.
and gambling.
Wowee.
And pimping, which is weird.
Pimping.
Pimping.
Drinking Pims.
Pimping. Okay. All right. Pimping.
William's dad, John, was also prosecuted for unlicensed dealing in wool and mortgaged and subsequently lost some lands he had obtained through his wife's inheritance that would have been inherited by Shakespeare.
Still laughing about going pimping. Not funny to have lost Willie's inheritance.
That's right. He fucked up William's money.
I wonder what they called him. Bill? Willie?
Billy boy.
Will.
Billy the Kid. Is he Billy the Kid?
Once again, history doesn't say.
So yes. Billy the Kid.
Although no records survived, most historians assume that William went to Stratford's Guild School, where he would have learnt Latin, grammar and literature, so a bit of background and stuff.
Did he have to do Shakespeare? Ugh.
Yeah, mate.
I roll.
He's like, fucking Macbeth, fuck.
Ugh.
Can we just do something original? As part of his education, the students were exposed to Latin plays, so probably even more boring than Shakespeare.
Ugh.
Students performed them to better understand the language. Although he almost certainly didn't go to university because later on people would attack him for not being university educated.
Right.
Physically?
No, they would just bully him.
Okay.
Much like you do to us.
All right.
Even
piece
though-
of shit, shut your
Even
fucking
though, even though we've all been university educated.
All
I
right, you
studied
piece of shit.
Shakespeare at university.
You did?
I did some literature.
Me too.
Yeah.
What
And Dave obviously definitely would have because he studied drama.
Shakespeare did you do, Matt?
I did The Tempest.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of his last plays.
And yeah, that might have been the only one.
I did Macbeth and Romeo and Juliet at high school.
Yes, Romeo and Juliet was definitely.
I did both of those at school too.
And Othello, I did it. At
Othello,
high school
yeah,
as
that's a good one.
I did it.
I did it. I saw
Othello, done, next.
Next, what else you got, fuckhead?
my mum and I went up to Sydney. That might have been start of this year. Just to see, like the main reason for us going was to see King Lear because Geoffrey Rush was playing King Lear.
Oh wow, that would have been cool.
So we went up and saw Geoffrey Rush.
Was it fantastic?
It was very good. It's still Shakespeare, so you're still like, I have no idea what you're talking about, but he's very good.
But you're very good at making me not know what you're talking
Yeah.
about.
But through his acting, I understood.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean?
Did you?
You
It's
felt
more. I felt it.
Yeah.
I felt it through him. I felt G. Rush and I connected.
Was that the one where he was naked?
Nah. Oh, a little bit. Yeah, a little bit naked.
it. What like his,
Define little. Did you see his urethra?
No. We were sitting like second from the back row though.
Second
so
on the back.
maybe
so you
people the front did.
front row.
I've heard Geoffrey Rush's urethra is one of the few things you can see from space. Is that not true?
Once again, history does not say yes or no.
So yes.
We have to assume guilty until proven innocent,
Mm-hmm.
as they say in the theatre.
They do. They do.
They say that.
That is a theatre
So,
thing. And listeners wouldn't understand. They're not theatre people like we are.
Well,
Unless they
statistically,
are
some
theatre
of them
people.
are.
Yeah, right. Sorry.
On the 28th of November 1582, near Stratford, the 18-year-old Shakespeare married Anne Hathaway.
Anne Hathaway,
Who was
star
Catwoman.
of Princess Diaries, Les Miserables, and other.
The Dark Knight Rises.
The Intern, her best work, with De Niro. It's very good.
And she was
The
not.
Devil Wears Prada.
Devil Wears Prada.
She was not in Black Swan.
She was not in Black Swan.
As I
was
thought
Natalie
for a long
Portman.
time. I get them confused a lot. Anne Hathaway, who was 8 years his senior, 26 years old.
26? Ugh, imagine being that age. Yuck.
Yucky.
Not much is known.
And not married before then. Ugh, what are you doing, Anne Hathaway, you bloody pig? You dirty bitch.
Apparently it's quite piggish to get married.
To not get married. She was obviously an uggo if nobody married her before that. Ugh.
How about if you're a guy? It's cool to be single at 26, right?
You're not.
Well, you have to, well, I'm unmarried. Not much is known about Anne's early life, other than her father died in 1581 and left his daughter the sum of 10 marks to be paid at the day of her marriage.
Oh.
In her father's will, her name is listed as Agnes, leading some scholars to believe that she would be referred to as Agnes Hathaway, or that her father had no idea what her name was. I may have added that last sentence in. The ceremony was probably arranged in some haste because their first daughter, Susanna, was born 6 months later.
What? Oh, I see.
Shotgun
Sorry,
wedding.
I thought you meant that, like, for some reason I thought, like, Anne's parents had a baby 6 months later. I was like, that's not their first child, mate. William
and Anne. He's
6
18,
months
but
later.
6 months later.
No, but she was like 3 months prem, right?
right.
Totally fine. All
yeah,
legit.
totally. And
How many months, Prem?
3, I said.
3 months. Yeah, that doesn't bode well back then. I don't know.
Yeah, I was about to
I don't know what their prenatal care unit was like.
I thought you were questioning my maths, and then it made me question my maths. I was like, no, I'm pretty sure pregnancy is 9 months, typically, and then take away. Well, they said 6 months later, so it's 3.
Is that what prenatal means? That's some sort of a baby thing, isn't it? All right.
Of all
Please,
people,
Dave,
here.
do go on.
their twin children were also born a few years later, 1585. They had a daughter, Judith, and their son, Hamnet.
Hamnet?
Hamnet.
Hamnet.
Oh.
Not Hamlet. Hamnet. Hamnet.
Is that a name?
Hamnet.
Well,
It's how you
apparently-
catch your pigs.
Apparently, I also enjoy that you...
Go check the hamnets. Oh, we got a fine catch. Many a ham this Christmas. It shall be a jolly good one. Merry Christmas to all.
But what day is this? December 26th. Fuck Christmas.
Fuck your hams. Fuck them off.
Fuck 'em off.
Let 'em free.
Let them free. Run free, piggies.
I've got to pull you up there, Jess. You questioned whether Hamnet is a name from the man who invented your name.
Yeah, but Hamnet. No,
Look,
good,
He
well
can't
played.
invent Hamnet, but he can invent
You
Jessica.
can't invent Jessica.
You
Well,
can-
okay, how many Hamnets do you know now? Follow-up question. How many Jessicas do you know?
They're not all going to take, Jess. You know, you got to break a few eggs to make an omelette or
Exactly.
whatever they say. I think that's relevant here.
Yeah, we can't all be Jessicas, is what
No,
you're saying.
That's right.
Sure.
You know, Paul McCartney wrote Hey Jude, but he also wrote, what's one of his shit songs?
There aren't any. He's a genius.
All right, great.
Definitely. There's definitely some shit wings ones.
There's some shit Beatles ones. Oh, not. There's some not great ones.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, but that's subjective, isn't it?
It is.
Hey.
Just like Hamnet. My favourite new name.
Prepare the Hamnet. Then we get to Shakespeare's lost years.
Ears.
Years.
Oh,
It's not Van Gogh.
less
Van Gogh.
interested.
It's not Van Gogh. No, but it does make him sound like he had an ice habit or something.
Yeah, I just lost him. Lost a few years
Well,
there.
he may have, because no one has really any idea what happened for a period of 7 years of his life, and then suddenly he appears in London.
Wow, I had one of those.
7 years?
6 for me. Just didn't do anything.
It's called
Then you
high
appeared in
school.
Then
London.
I appeared. No, it's not high school. It was after high school. I just did nothing for 6 years. Then I appeared on the comedy scene and have done very little since. Woo!
Jess Perkins, the Shakespeare of Melbourne comedy.
I've always said that. Thank you for acknowledging it.
What had Shakespeare written by the age of 26, though? I think Jess's big hits are still to come.
Well, he'd written a couple. He'd written a
you're
couple.
on my side there. I thought you were going the other way and you were on my side. That's really sweet. I never know with you. You go one way or the other.
Whatever seems funnier at the time.
Sure.
He had his first play at 25.
Fuck!
So, just saying.
But you've done your first festival show by 25, so I
True.
think it's,
True.
It's true. He could have been a schoolmaster in the country. This is what people speculate. He may have run away after being caught illegally poaching a deer. It just sounds like scholars just sat around and made up stories. But my favourite theory, and from here on out, a fact, because I like it, is that he joined a touring acting company called Queen Elizabeth's Men after the sudden death of actor William Nell. And the death of William Nell on 13th of June 1587, the Queen's Men were at the beginning of a tour around the provinces near where Shakespeare lived, and where Nell got into an argument with another actor called John Town. Nell drew his sword and attacked Town, who retreated to Small Ridge in a place called White Hound Close. As Nell approached, Town drew his own sword in self-defense and stabbed Nell in the neck, and Nell was dead within half an hour.
Oh, boy.
Town got off in self-defense. Nell's wife quickly remarried
Got
John...
off on self-defense.
Oh, what a horny bastard.
Oh.
Oh, self-defense.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Hey,
yeah.
whatever you...
Protect yourself. Oh, buddy.
Tell me again how it was your property and they were trespassing. So Town got off in self-defense. Nell's wife quickly remarried and later on became one of Shakespeare's closest friends because Shakespeare got the acting job. So everyone's a winner, baby. That's the truth. We're all better off without Nell.
Yeah, fuck
Nell,
you, Nell.
Nell's
No,
dead.
Nell, no, Nell, no, Nell.
Death Nell.
Death Nell,
Death
Death Nell,
Nell.
Death Nell.
Yeah.
No
two
one wanted
syllables,
Nell. A reason Shakespeare may have been an actor is that as a married man, he was ineligible to go to university.
What?
That's the rule back then.
What?
Oh.
Wait, what?
He was also barred from taking up several types of apprenticeships as a married man.
You're kidding.
Yeah, so being an actor may have been his only choice.
That's so
And he
funny.
may have said to himself, success is my only motherfucking option. Failure's not. Mum's spaghetti. Something. Am I right, Matt?
Yeah.
Did you get that young person's reference?
Yeah, the reference from what, 2008?
No, 2002.
2002, bloody hell.
Time does fly when you're old.
White Rabbit.
Am I right?
I've never seen it, but I've heard good things.
Sure. You've never seen your mum's spaghetti?
Not on my sweater already, no.
But imagine if being an actor was your only choice.
Imagine.
And then you nailed it. By becoming a writer.
There we go.
Then in 1592, so we transport 7 years because of the lost years. Shakespeare pops up in London where he's now a playwright with a few plays to his name, including The Taming of the Shrew and Titus Andronicus. That's what he'd written by 25. How about you, Jess?
She wrote that really good joke about heroin.
I did. Yeah, that was probably one of the first ones I wrote, and haven't topped it since.
Nice. Well, he only got better, so he is William Shakespeare.
I quite like your one about the helicopter as well.
You like that one?
Yeah.
I think it's just because you like the line of, mate. Oh, no, it's a different... No, it's the same joke, yeah. Mate.
Would you
He
put
likes that.
the helicopter joke on the same pedestal as Romeo and Juliet, or she's not quite there yet?
Not Romeo and Juliet.
It's more-
but certainly Titus Andronicus.
Wow.
Do you know Titus Andronicus?
I don't know
No,
that
It
one.
is his most fucked play.
Really?
In it, like, fucked as in bad or fucked as in fucked?
No, it's really horrific.
Oh.
There's rape and killing and people having their arms and tongue chopped off and people buried up to their chest and left to die in the desert. And then at the end, this lady gets fed her 2 sons in a pie and then he chops her head.
Ew.
It's really... like people are like, oh, Hamlet, everyone dies at the end. But this one is way more messed up. And that was one of his first ones.
That's gross.
Yeah. Well,
And then
actually,
he reined it in a bit.
our listeners would probably love it because they love the serial killer episode.
They love it. Maybe one day I'll just read that play. I'll do all the characters.
You do. Yeah. Imagine that, Matt and I just sit back.
Shh. Every time you try and make a joke, shh.
Story time.
We have so much further to go.
This is only Act 1. It's gone for 3 hours. Jeffrey Rush has still got his pants on.
Get him off,
For
Jeff.
now.
Get him off, Jeff. Get him off, Jeff. It's the musical
Do
Shakespeare.
you think people call him Jeff? I couldn't call him Jeff. I'd call him Jeffrey Rush.
Yeah, you'd call him Jeffrey Rush.
I couldn't. I'd call him Sir Jeffrey Rush.
Certainly. I live in Hawthorne next to Camberwell where he lives.
Yeah, I'd call
And,
him Your Highness.
I often drive past the hairdressers that my girlfriend points to and says, "That's where my grandpa gets his haircut." So does Jeffrey Rush.
Oh my God.
He's just like us.
He gets a $10 haircut.
So exciting.
No, he's not just like us. He's just like Dave's granddad. Or whatever.
Dave's grandfather-in-law. We know Shakespeare was in London in 1592 because he had enough of a reputation as a writer for fellow successful playwright of the day, Robert Greene, to take a swipe at him.
Who the fuck's Robert Greene?
Well,
Who's heard of that piece of shit?
The best part about it is...
Bob Greene, fuck off.
So Robert Greene, he writes, he publishes the thing describing Shakespeare as an upstart crow beautified with our feathers, which is...
What?
It's pretty much, apparently, he's him criticising him as an actor trying to have a go at writing plays.
That's cute.
That's what he says. And he also called him a Johannes Factotum, or a jack of all trades. And the best part about that is that swipe at Shakespeare is the most famous thing Robert Greene is remembered for now. So cop that, dickhead!
Fuck you, Robert Greene!
So him bagging Shakespeare out is the only reason we even know who that fucker is.
Yeah.
He's remembered 400 years later. Imagine that.
By late 1594, Shakespeare was a part owner of a playing company actors touring around, known as Lord Chamberlain's Men. The group became popular enough that after the death of Elizabeth I, and then when James I replaced her as monarch, the company became known as the King's Men.
Got the official seal of
Got
approval.
the seal of approval, and he started sponsoring them. And this made Shakespeare quite a big deal and very wealthy.
Oh.
Very wealthy, because he was part owner of this company that's backed by the king. The group performed works written by Shakespeare and by other playwrights, and by 1598, Shakespeare's name began to appear on the title pages of his plays as a selling point. So a bit of a rep. People,
that's cool.
That's a Shakespeare.
He would like a Spielberg or a Scheinberg.
Yeah, from the director of Jaws,
etc.
etc. The Men performed at the Globe Theatre in London, and I mean men, because all of the actors of his day were men.
Sexist.
So even playing all of Shakespeare's very famous and many female characters, it was men. Often, for example, Lady Macbeth would just be a teenage boy.
Dave, do you
reckon I'd be a great Lady Macbeth?
You'd still, because like you're a fully grown man, fully grown. I say that in what's this? What am I doing
Inverted
here?
commas.
Yeah, thank you. I'm gonna say that, but you would still be playing the ladies.
Out damn spot.
Perfect. Very moving.
Thank you.
Did they have awards back then? Because he would have won them. How do you look in a dress?
World's best dressed festive boy / woman.
That's quite a title. Good for you. Good for you. Put a
you.
wig on you, you'd be a real pretty girl.
And in answer to your question, I look great in a dress. The Globe was destroyed by fire in 1613 and rebuilt in 1614. It was later closed, along with many theatres in 1642, because they went through a bit of a period where they didn't like theatre. So for about 25 years, most theatres were shut down. But then Shakespeare's Globe Theatre, which is the one we have visited, is a replica, as exact as can be, was opened in 1997 and is only 230 metres away from the original site on the Thames, or as Jess calls it, the Thames.
I don't. I'm just never pronounce it.
Meters away. That feels like a real
It's not far.
Yeah, to me that's like, what's the point?
Do you reckon,
It's not the real building. It's not the real site.
Where do you draw the line? How many metres? If it's 41 metres,
it's gonna be on the site, or they had to move it, not with a 400-year gap or whatever.
Yeah,
it was.
sure. So it's the fact that it's a replica and not in the exact spot that bothers you.
Yeah,
To be honest, I was a little peeved that it wasn't it was a replica. I was like, ugh.
Matt, let's be honest. You didn't go to Alcatraz Island. You didn't go to Van Gogh's museum. You would not go to the Globe.
I didn't go.
When
Where
you travel,
is the Globe in London?
Yeah.
I've spent months and months in London. It never crossed my mind.
What do you do on your holidays? Just
I
go to
meet
bars.
the people
You meet the people.
in the bars.
There we go.
But I mean,
We're
it's
drinking
about,
right
It's about
now.
the people. You want to be there with the locals. You want to feel their culture, not going to the tourist traps.
So you're saying that Shakespeare is not the English people's culture?
No, not at all.
What's their culture?
Their culture is going down, watch the EPL at the Frog and Toad or something like that.
The Frog and Toad.
That's probably one of them.
It's definitely, it surely
the something
is.
and the Slug and Lettuce.
That's also great.
Or the, I think that's a real one. There'd be, those sort of bars that have the something and something names.
Yeah.
That's London culture.
Culture.
Yeah.
Culture.
I'm from North London.
Culture.
Yeah, bit of culture.
Big culture. Get a bit of culture.
EPL.
Love it.
What else is there? What else do they do in London? Some sort of they got good music culture there.
Sure.
See some live comedy.
Sure.
Did
Did you do any of that?
Culture. Oh, no. No, I did. I saw some music.
Of course you did. Anyway,
Saw
Dave,
some American touring bands.
please excuse
All
my uncultured friend here, and do go on.
Thank you.
The Uncultured Swine. That's another pub I like to go to in London.
By the early 17th century, Shakespeare had become very prosperous. But most of his money went to secure his family position in Stratford, so he'd send his money home. And Shakespeare himself seems to have lived in rented accommodation in London.
Wait, so his wife and kids are still back
there? They're back home. And he'd go home for a visit maybe once a year, they think.
Oh, that sucks. Absent dad.
Cop that, Hamnet.
Yeah, sure.
Shakespeare grew rich enough by now to buy the second largest house in Stratford.
Second largest?
The Buzz Aldrin of houses.
Oof.
Oh, yeah. Number 2.
Did you write that down?
Yeah, I wrote that down. Hey.
What would another reference be to a past episode that counts as the second biggest?
Oh, the horse. Leonardo da Vinci's horse.
Yeah.
Which is definitely not the biggest anymore. Shakespeare bought lots of farmland and rented it out and had large stores of grain and barley that people could buy from him if they were in need.
Oh.
Which makes him sound charitable, but then you're like, well, it's a business, so he's still selling it.
Yeah, it's just, he's running
That's just any business. If
side
they're in
business.
need for the product I'm selling, you've got to shop there,
Gotta
mate.
No, but you've got to know, Shakespeare needs to know they need it, not want it. You know what I
Right.
mean? He's not about just lazy consumerism.
Okay.
He's like, is this a need or a want? It's a need, please. Go for it. Take some barley.
Have some grain.
See you later. What's that? You've got some at home, you just want some more? Fuck off.
He's very unpoetic off stage. Shakespeare was very
Which is
very
weird, though,
matter of
because
fact.
all the world is a stage.
And all
In
the
a lot
men
of
and
ways,
women merely
never
players.
That's right.
off it.
Shakespeare
was
What was his...
Shakespeare was fearful of death and retired to Stratford some years before he died, although he did continue to write some plays.
but
But
they
he
were all
stopped
about
working.
death. More about death.
Yeah, well, we started with that Titus Andronicus, that had a lot of death. In June 1613, Shakespeare's daughter Susanna was slandered by John Lane, a local man who claimed she had caught gonorrhea from a lover.
Ugh.
Susanna and her husband, Dr. John Hall, sued for slander.
John Hall.
John Hall. That is weird.
What you want? You got them, my heart.
Oh, yeah.
No. Dave took a
It's
while.
Daryl Hall.
Damn it.
That's why I didn't get it. That's why I didn't get it.
Every time.
Oh, man, I'm so literal with things that I just... What are you talking about? That's not funny. It's Daryl Hall. It's John Oates.
Sorry.
It's not Dr. John Oates.
Was he selling John Oates to people who needed them?
Or was he just sowing his wild oats?
John Hall sued John Lane for slander. Lane failed to appear in court and was convicted. Cop that, John.
John and John.
In the last few weeks of Shakespeare's life, the man who was to marry his younger daughter Judith, who was a tavern keeper named Thomas Quinney, was charged in the local church court with fornication.
Oh, Quinny.
Wait, that he had sex.
Yeah,
That's the charge.
but bad sex.
Okay.
He fornicated.
The marriage went through, but it did not begin well. Quinney had recently impregnated another woman, Margaret Wheeler.
Quinny.
Oh. This next sentence is, Margaret Wheeler, who was to die in childbirth along with a child.
Oh,
She died.
Quinny.
Just had no idea that I was going to say that. Quinney, I only say this, was thereafter disgraced, and Shakespeare revised his will to ensure that Judith's interest in his estate was protected from Quinney, her husband.
Oh, brutal. It's no good when your father-in-law doesn't like you at all.
Well, that's no good.
Wait, so these are Shakespeare's kids?
Yeah.
I didn't know he had kids. You've been talking about his
3
kids for
kids.
long? Okay.
Yeah, he had 2 twins.
That's normally
Susanna-
the amount of twins you
Susanna-
have, Dave, to be honest.
No,
Fucking hell.
Susanna Hamnet and Judith.
So-
Remember Hamnet?
Oh,
Remember
yeah,
Judith.
right.
So
Okay, yeah,
hang on.
Hamnet.
Judith and Hamnet are the twins.
Remember-
Susanna's the oldest. She's the
Right.
first child, so it must be Judith and Hamnet that are the twins. Remember the time Dave Warnocky asked if identical twins are always the same gender?
That was off podcast and will never be spoken of here.
He asked that.
I reckon, you're going through the list of things that are identical. I reckon right towards the top. Sex of the child.
Yeah, that's going to be the same.
Shakespeare signed his updated will, which listed him as having perfect health. He died 1 month later,
Oh, boy.
April 1616, at age 52. There are no sources saying why or how he died. He was 52 years old, but that wasn't young like it is now. So.
Yeah. Oh, that's a
So
pretty
no,
good
that's-
innings in that time, I think. Cricket reference there. There you go. I'm sporty.
After half a century had passed, John Ward, the vicar of Stratford, wrote in his notebook, Shakespeare...
More like Dead Spear.
It did feel like he was leaving that kind of pause.
Rest in peace, dickhead!
No, what he did wrote was that Drayton and Ben Jonson, along with Shakespeare, had a merry meeting and seems drank too hard, for Shakespeare died of a fever there contracted. He pretty much died of a hangover.
Oh, no.
I hadn't heard of that.
That's not good.
Yeah. Well, I reckon it would have happened to you by now, Matt. It would have happened.
I'm painting a bad picture of myself, or you are.
Yeah, we're definitely helping.
Yeah, we help you a lot.
Drink responsibility. Oh.
Drink responsibility.
Edit that bit out. Drink responsibly, because otherwise my message might be undermined.
It sounds like you have a responsibility to drinking.
I have a drink responsibility.
Shakespeare was survived by his wife Anne, whom in his will he famously left, quote, "I give unto my wife my second best bed with the furniture."
What a piece of shit.
People have debated that for a long time, whether that's a nice thing, because he gave his house to his daughter, which the best bed comes with the house, and the second best is still pretty good, or that he didn't like Anne his whole life, so that was because he's...
Well, he could have just given her no bed then.
No, but he had such a way with words that people think that maybe that was a slight, like, fuck you, my second best bed.
Well, that's mean. Don't leave her anything then if you don't like her.
Yeah.
You know?
He was also survived by his two daughters, Susanna and Judith, but his son Hamnet had died in 1596.
How did Hamnet die, do you know?
I don't know.
Let's guess.
A broken heart.
The pigs ate through him. He couldn't hold him. Hamlet's caught a whole bunch of pigs, but they're hungry, these ones. They've eaten right through him and escaped. He died of bleeding. He died of bleeding. That's how we used to say it. Now they say something else.
They found there's just like a couple of ribs left. Looks like he died of bleeding.
Died of bleeding.
I reckon he may have died. There's no blood here at all. He's lost all his blood.
What's a quick way of saying blood loss?
Bleeding.
Massive. Shakespeare invented the word bleeding. His last surviving direct descendant was his granddaughter Elizabeth Hall, who was the daughter of Susanna and John Hall, not Darrell Hall. John Hall. But despite two marriages, his granddaughter Elizabeth Hall had no children. So
For fuck's sake, Elizabeth.
Otherwise, we could still have direct descendants of Shakespeare.
For fuck's sake.
But there's none left.
So they...
That's a bit sad,
for
I guess.
fuck's sake. She was the only grandchild.
Yeah, and she was the last one.
And what was her issue? Was it like she was an argo,
So
or
Hamlet-
No, she had two marriages.
she had two marriages, but her bits didn't get the job done, or
Her urethra was too big.
it was wide open, but
Just wouldn't say
Her bits didn't get the job done.
does the urethra come into
Right,
play?
please stop.
Shakespeare is buried in the chancel of Holy Trinity Church in his hometown, Stratford-upon-Avon. He was granted the honour of burial in the chancel, not on account of his fame as a playwright, but because he was wealthy enough to buy a share of the tithe of the church for £440, which was several $1,000s at the time. So he's got a big monument because he was rich, not because he was famous at the time.
Wow.
A monument on the wall nearest his grave, probably placed by his family, features a bust showing Shakespeare posed in the act of writing, and each year on his birthday, April 23, a new quill pen is placed in the writing hand of the bust.
Oh, that's nice. Was he right-handed? I think he was. That's disappointing.
All the greats
I
are.
liked him until then.
All the greats
I
are.
liked
Greats
him
are
until
right
just
hand.
then.
You got Matt Stewart, Dave Warnocky, William Shakespeare.
The list goes on.
Well played. Well played.
It stops at this point of the table, but it goes on towards all the other greats.
Takes a little detour past me, my seat.
So now we come to William Shakespeare's reputation. Now, at the time of his death, Willie was rated as merely one among many talented playwrights and poets, but wasn't the level he is today. He was not even as famous as poet Philip Sidney, who was a contemporary of his, who became a cult figure due to his death in battle at a young age.
Oof.
So he was a poet. During the battle, he was shot in the thigh and died of gangrene 26 days later at age 31. As he lay dying, Sidney composed a song to be sung by his deathbed.
Okay, well that seems a little...
It's an overachiever.
Yeah.
Well, according to the story, whilst lying wounded, he gave his water to another wounded soldier, saying, "Thy necessity is yet greater than mine."
Fuck off.
What a poetic fuck.
That's just how they talk back then. They
You know
didn't
what
have
the
all
song
that
was?
good words now because Shakespeare hadn't invented them yet.
You know what his deathbed song was?
What was it?
Oh! Oh, goddess! Ness!
No, catchy. I liked it, Jess. I think... Did it chart back then?
Oh, yeah. Big time. Number 1. Platinum.
At least on that chart they put at the end of the bed.
Takes a dramatic sip.
Shakespeare's poems were reprinted far more frequently than his plays during his day. But his plays were written for performance by his own company, and because no law at the time prevented rival companies from using the plays, no copyright existed, Shakespeare's troupe took steps to prevent his plays from being printed. So they kept it to themselves.
Ah.
So at the time, they were like, no, we're doing this.
Yep.
What's that you got there? Nothing.
Nothing.
Put Hamlet back in the
Just
suitcase.
toilet paper.
Just toilet paper with lots of poetry on it. Oh, just wiping my...
But there's
My
urethra.
tush.
guys at the back of the theatre just with a quill and parchment.
That was the piracy of the day.
Yeah.
Wait, can you say that line again, please, Squire?
Yeah.
No flash photography or fountain pens in this performance, please. Shakespeare was one of the first playwrights to have all of his plays published in one folio. This happened with the famous First Folio in 1623, so 7 years after he died, which contained 36 of Shakespeare's plays, 18 of which had never been published before.
Oh, wow.
So it was a bit of a hot scoop. Less than 9 years later, it was reprinted due to its popularity, and at the time, that is pretty impressive.
Cool. Like now, it'd probably just be on the internet, you know? No need to reprint. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Save the paper. In the 18th century, so the next century after he died, Shakespeare started to dominate the London stage with his plays, and they started to become a reputation that if you're good at Shakespeare, you became a star.
Oh, wow.
That kind of thing, yeah.
Kenneth Branagh.
For example.
Kenneth Branagh's great-great-great-great-grandfather, old Joe Brownie Branagh.
I think Dave made that up. What do you reckon?
No, don't you trust me?
What is it? Does it say there if you made that up or not, Dave?
Yeah.
History will neither confirm nor deny.
There you go, because it's true.
Well, there you go.
A quarter of all plays performed at this time were written by Shakespeare, and
Wow.
on at least 2 occasions, rival London playhouses staged the exact same Shakespeare play at the same time down the road from each other, Romeo and Juliet and then King Lear, and they still both commanded sellout audiences. That's how
Wow.
popular he was.
Wow, that's crazy.
But imagine being like, oh no, you're doing King Lear as well. Fuck.
But like, which one? How would you make the decision of which one to go to?
Which one's got Geoffrey Rush in it?
There we go.
Yeah, I guess that's... Well, at first it'd be like you'd go for the original Shakespeare group. But then maybe in the modern day, you know, maybe they've got the Leonardo DiCaprio or whatever, and you go, oh, I actually want to go see this hot new thing.
Do you think maybe you'd see both?
Oh, you could see.
Oh, they compare.
Yeah,
Especially if you are going there to pirate the text.
exactly. It would be helpful to see it again.
Yeah.
Opinion of Shakespeare was briefly shaped in the 1790s by the discovery of the Shakespeare Papers by a man called William Henry Ireland. Ireland claimed to have found in a trunk a gold mine of lost documents, including Shakespeare's 2 lost plays.
Oh,
These documents appeared to demonstrate a number of unknown facts about his life that shaped opinion of the man, including a profession of faith, which made him appear to be a Protestant, and that he had also fathered an illegitimate child. So the public turned on him for a second. One of the plays was performed, and after one performance, William Henry Ireland admitted that he'd made up the whole thing. It was a forgery.
Oh,
So everyone was like, oh, no, Shakespeare's cool. He's not a Protestant.
oh my god.
It's fucking weird, isn't it?
so weird.
After one performance of the
One-
play,
he
people
probably-
were like, I don't think so.
That was not very good. He was like, yeah, I made it up. I thought it'd work.
Sold some tickets
Yeah.
though.
Yeah. Kenneth Branagh did a good job.
He did as good as he could.
Now, you guys can imagine what Shakespeare looks like, right?
Yes.
Yeah, the guy from the Gwyneth Paltrow movie.
Yep.
Mr. Fines.
With puffy pants, though.
Oh yeah.
It is actually unconfirmed whether any portraits of William Shakespeare were painted during his lifetime, but several portraits have been claimed to be the Bard over the years. The most famous of which is called the Chandos portrait, or the Chandos. It's definitely Chandos. Chandos. Oi, Chandos!
Is it Nando's? Is what were you trying to say?
It's not Nando's.
Okay, interesting.
Portuguese chicken. Well, I don't know what that accent was. I wasn't even intending to do an accent.
You just lost control of your voice.
Did. Started slurring my words.
Portuguese chicken.
This is the most famous portrait of Shakespeare.
Portuguese of Shakespeare?
Portuguese. Also, Nando's is South African.
That's Portuguese.
No, it's South African.
It's South African, but it's Portuguese
Style chicken, that's right.
Fuck off.
So, I mean,
Mr. Fact Check over here.
technicality, I guess.
Well, Matt is the fact
It's
checker.
South African.
Yeah, it's a South African. Isn't that weird?
That is weird.
Portuguese. That was my time to the South African. Hey, that's South African accent.
South
Got
Africa.
diplomatic immunity.
It's everyone's go-to.
Yeah.
Now he's into character.
Diplomatic
Okay,
immunity. Portuguese chicken.
Portuguese chicken.
That sounded Dutch.
Yeah. I went.
So it's either the two go-to ones to get into a South African accent are the diplomatic immunity or
South Africa.
That's
for me.
to me, a grudge is just a place you park your car.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, that's not bad. Now
that's
say Portuguese chicken.
Portuguese chicken.
I thought it was getting better. One more go. One more go.
No, he's done it.
Portuguese. No, it's such a fun accent. I love it a lot.
How would Michael Caine say Portuguese chicken?
Michael Caine chicken.
Well, you missed a key word there.
Dave, you ever go?
I'm Michael Caine, and I endorse this Portuguese chicken.
You've got to have the run-up with his name involved somehow.
So you can't just go straight into it. You just can't go straight into it.
Because otherwise people don't know what you're doing.
So this Nando's portrait is probably the most famous portrait because it was supposed to have been painted in his lifetime, and it was given to the National Portrait Gallery in London, which is that famous one behind Trafalgar Square that's free, and so it's really, really popular. It's not determined whether it is actually real. However, the National Portrait Gallery believes it probably does depict the writer. And of course they'd fucking say that because it was the first ever thing in their collection. It's listed as number one in their collection.
Oh, that's cool.
But of
So
course
like,
they say
no,
that.
it's legit. Just like everything here is legit.
Also in the portrait, it looks like he's wearing a pirate ring, pirate earring.
Oh, what a cool
I
dude.
enjoy that a lot.
I'm pretty sure in the Gwyneth Paltrow movies wearing a pirate type earring.
Hello.
What's that movie called?
Shakespeare in Love.
Shakespeare. Oh, yeah, right. Have you seen it?
Oh,
Neither of you have seen it.
I haven't seen it, no. It
Well,
won the Academy Award for Best Picture.
I think I've
that
seen
seems like
bits.
that can't be
No,
right.
I was also surprised to learn that.
Judi Dench is in it.
Oh, Dame Judy.
Dame Jude. Love it. Big fan.
Big fan.
Do you just call her Dame Jew? Because that is a great name.
Dame Jude.
Dame Jew.
Dame Jude.
Jude.
You're in a bad
movie, but we don't hold it against you.
Is it a bad movie?
You
No.
Can't
also
have been.
played
We-
M for a long
We
time.
watched it
in the James Bond
high school
series
English
of films.
when we were studying Shakespeare. And I enjoyed it at the time. I think it was because we got to watch a movie during school.
You know that we didn't acknowledge your singing.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I
Jeff.
thought it was kind of nice that we were, if people turn their fade down to the left or the right, they'll be able to make their choice.
That is not how this audio works at all. We are both all stereo.
We could mix it that way if we wanted to.
Wow,
That would sound weird.
Yeah.
The only two beyond confirmed, I love that, beyond confirmed artworks that depict Shakespeare are an engraving that appears on the front of the first folio. This is the iconic Shakespeare image that you probably know, sort of that.
You're pointing
You
at
know
us
that
like
bob?
we're some sort of uneducated swine people.
You know that bob hair that he's got?
Did you get that too? Did you feel that as well?
Mm-hmm.
Did you feel really talked down to?
Yeah.
How?
And I always feel weird when such a small man talks down to
Yeah.
us.
It's like he has to stand up on his chair to talk down. It's like,
I
mate.
reckon once an episode he's up on his stool.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
That
We
is
haven't
weird.
addressed that though.
I think we have actually.
Sorry, Dave. Do go on.
Sorry, it's hard to hear you up here. With your head in the clouds with all the other winners. The only other confirmed piece is his funeral monument in his hometown, the one I was talking about before, which is also completed after his death. So in reality, the image we have of Shakespeare could all just be a lie based on one or two people's memories.
Well,
How he used to look.
but in a way, aren't we all just a lie in somebody's memory?
All memory is very fallible.
Yeah, right. And like the way I see Dave may be different to the way you see Dave, Matt. So
All my
if
memories.
you and I were doing a portrait, it may be very different.
Mine would be all pompadour.
Yeah, mine would be all eyes. I'm all about his big blues.
Matt, at the start, you questioned whether Shakespeare actually wrote his own plays.
Yeah, because I'd heard rumours, and I reckon there are a few people who are more passionate than I would be about this. That like, the truth needs to be found. It wasn't all him. It couldn't possibly be. It must have been a team of writers or something like that.
You know what those people are called? These people are collectively called anti-Stratfordians.
Oh, fuck off.
Really?
Do you identify as an anti-Stratfordian?
No.
No.
I don't care enough.
I think that's a
I'm
dumb
like,
thing to be
look,
anti.
Yeah, he's a guy. I think. I don't know. If it turns out that there was a team of writers, then I think it should be found out. But there's no. I don't get the big deal.
Well, these people believe that Shakespeare of Stratford was a front to shield the identity of the real author or authors who for some reason did not want or could accept public credit.
Oh, an alien.
Well, I don't think anyone has ever suggested that, but that is quite interesting.
That makes sense because they can't.
They're inventing these words because they speak a different language.
You wouldn't want all that attention because then people could figure out you're an alien. Because This Is Your Life would want to come in and do an expose.
Yeah, who's your grandpa? Don't talk to him.
Yeah.
Don't go near that ship. I mean barn. Oh, don't look in the barn.
You don't want people twigging onto your alienness, your extraterrestriality.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Too right.
Do you know what I mean?
Too right.
Too right.
So Shakespeare's biography, particularly his humble origins and obscure life, seemed incompatible with his poetic eminence and his reputation for genius, arousing suspicion to some that Shakespeare might not have written the works attributed to him. More than 80 authorship candidates have been proposed. The most popular are Christopher Marlowe.
Marlowe, that's the guy I was thinking of.
Sir Francis Bacon.
Bacon.
That's the guy I was thinking of.
The 17th Earl of Oxford.
That's the guy I was thinking of.
And William
The
Stanley,
alien.
the 6th Earl of Derby.
Lots of earls.
But only the 6th Earl.
Yeah, he's only the 6th best. Supporters of alternative candidates argued that theirs is the more plausible author and that William Shakespeare lacked the education, aristocratic sensibility, or familiarity with the royal court that they say is apparent in the works. Which to me just sounds like more fucking upper class people saying that, oh, he was just the son of a glove guy, he couldn't have written this stuff.
He's the son of a glove
Accept
maker.
it.
Thank you.
Documentary evidence used to support Shakespeare's authorship, title pages, testimony by other contemporary poets and historians, and official records is the same use for all authorial attributions of his era. So everyone else gets the same deal as Shakespeare. So you don't question whether Christopher Marlowe was real because you go and look at the same stuff. But no such direct evidence exists for any other candidate. So there's no evidence to suggest anyone else. They just think that, he wasn't smart enough to do that.
It's a bit of tall poppy syndrome, isn't it?
Yep. And Shakespeare's authorship was not questioned during his lifetime or for centuries after his death.
Nah, tall poppy
I
syndrome.
think it's just people that want to sell a few fucking books.
Yeah.
Sounds like classism to me.
You know what? I don't have a fancy education. Do you think people listen to this podcast and they're like, there's no way
That's
she's
not her.
written this?
That
Not
is
now,
her.
but 400 years from now.
Oh, okay.
400 years from now, they will be like, there's no way they wrote that.
When people are performing in these podcasts at theatres
Yeah.
and reciting them in school classrooms.
Weird thing to do.
They'll all say, Nick Mason wrote that.
Yeah.
He wrote
Yeah.
all of that.
Yeah.
And they'd be right to think he's smarter than us.
They only credit him on 3 episodes, but
That's a very good joke. Considering what I'm about to say. Some prominent public figures that are anti-Stratfordian over history include Walt Whitman.
The chocolate guy?
you think of Willy Wonka?
Willy Wonka. No, what's the chocolate brand that's like, they do
I was just kidding.
the peanut slabs?
Whitman, isn't it?
Whitman. And what's this guy called?
Walt Whitman.
And what's the chocolate guy called?
You thinking about Whitley's?
Whitley's.
Oh, Whitley's, believe it
Ripley's,
or not.
believe it or not.
I don't believe it. So people that, some prominent public figures that are anti-Stratfordian throughout history include Walt Whitman, Mark Twain, Henry James, the author, Sigmund Freud, Charlie Chaplin.
Yeah, but Freud thought everybody wanted to fuck their mums.
Yeah, that's right. Orson Welles, and the original homewrecker herself, Helen Keller. If you haven't heard the episode on Helen Keller, that makes sense, I think.
If you haven't heard it, it makes sense? No. It doesn't if you haven't heard it. If you haven't heard it, go back and listen to that one.
If you haven't heard it, that makes sense, I think.
I mean,
That's how
either way it makes sense. Oh, look, I don't fully get why these are all people who should be busy with stuff.
Yeah, you got better
Why
stuff
are they
happening.
worrying about this? It seems strange to me.
Freud, come on. Come on, mate.
These anti-Stratfordians mainly rely on circumstantial evidence, like similarities in stories, etc. But a lot of playwriting back then, they based little different things on ancient Greek stories, and they passed down.
Heaps of the Shakespeare ones, weren't they based on other stories?
Yeah, other things, yeah.
Folk tales and stuff.
Most Shakespeare scholars, on the other hand, rely on hard evidence, like I was saying before, actual things, rather than being like, oh, that sounds a bit like that thing that Francis Bacon wrote. He wrote all of Shakespeare.
Yeah, it's like, why? So somehow Francis Bacon wrote a slightly different version of it, and then a whole different bunch of plays as well.
Yeah, he also wrote Macbeth. They argue that his will was mundane and unpoetic and makes no mention of personal papers, books, poems, or the 18 other plays that remained unpublished at the time of his death. Would the real Shakespeare really write such a boring will?
Well, it's a will.
No, it's a will.
Boring document. I don't
actually...
think mine's funny. I don't have one, but I don't think it's going to be funny.
To be honest, no, I'm starting to turn.
Oh, here we go.
No, I think
he just wants to be the opposite
that is
thought.
a very good point. I hadn't considered that. The will was dull. Why would he have written a dull will? He's one of them fancy righty boys. Why would he all of a sudden he's got my final ever piece of work that anyone's ever going to read at the very end. I'm going to like eliminate any sort of this flowery bullshit writing that I'm famous for.
I don't think
that doesn't make any sense.
I don't think
it shouldn't be you get to have my second bed. It would have been thou Dildodian gets my... No,
Dildodian.
I don't know why.
What the fuck is a Dildodian?
Well, it's one of his words that he made up. Look,
all right, can you define a Dildodian?
What's a Dildodian?
Well, no, I can't. I'm not a Shakespeare expert. I just know that's one of his words that he came up with. Jessica, Dildodian, drink bottle,
lamp.
The word, they're endless.
Deluge.
Banana. Later changed to banana.
Yeah. He was quite drunk when he wrote that.
What's this one called, show you? Pardon?
Sorry?
Banana.
Pardon? Well, maybe we'll finish in the morning. No. Banana. Write it down.
Write it down.
B-A-N-A-N-A-N-A-N-A-N-A.
And there's an L in there somewhere too. Banana.
Banana.
Don't let Bacon get his fucking fingers on this shit. I thought of this.
Get Bacon's fingers off my banana.
Now, having said all of that, like most playwrights of his period, William Shakespeare did not always write alone.
What?
So some of his plays have been credited as co-written, which I'm more up for admitting than someone saying that there's a conspiracy of people that...
But none of the big ones were they? Did any of the big ones ever co-write?
Well, earlier this year, so there's still a lot of debate over this. A new edition of the New Oxford Shakespeare named fellow playwright Christopher Marlowe, you were talking about before, as co-author of 3 plays, the history play Henry VI Parts 1, 2, and 3. But so people, and they only did that because they were able to analyse thousands and thousands and thousands of things that both men had written, and they found similarities in the writing style. So that's how they were able to do that.
Bunch of nerds.
So that they didn't find that he actually, that's super interesting.
There wasn't actually evidence, they found a diary entry that said, today, Shakespeare let me take the reins and write Act 4 of his little play he's working on. There was
having a writing sesh with Bill.
Woo, Billy.
Had a cup of tea. Bloody great. Good day.
That's really interesting. That seems quite bizarre to me, that they've given him a co-write based on some sort of a science thing.
Mm.
Yeah, and
you know?
I don't really subscribe to any of this science stuff.
I just feel it in me gut.
I reckon he wrote that one, not that one, and that one maybe.
Here endeth the lesson.
Dildodians.
My fellow Dildodians.
Well, we're going to end with something we haven't had in a long time.
No.
It's fun facts.
Yeah.
Fun facts.
Here are some fun
just did
facts.
A cute little clap.
Just a little. Listen up, children. His first play, written in around 1589 when he was 25 or so, was called The Two Gentlemen of Verona. His last play, written in 1614 when he was 50, is called The Two Noble Kingsmen. But he had no other plays called The Two Something. Just the first and the last.
Oh, I wonder if they're same dudes. What a life.
Jess, is that a fun fact?
That's fun.
That is pretty interesting.
Well,
He's Yeah.
Hey, you start low and you build.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to save the best for last.
I scroll through my document to make sure the best one is last.
Very smart. I've done that many times.
A statue and memorial in Sydney depicts not only Shakespeare, but 5 of his most famous characters: Hamlet, Romeo,
Yep.
Juliet,
Oh, okay.
Portia, and Falstaff.
Oh, yeah.
Who's Portia from?
There's a couple,
What's
but
Portia
the
from?
Merchant of Venice.
She's from a couple of the plays.
Well, not the same. He recycled names.
Right, but this one, you don't know which one this one is.
I'm sure it's that one because that's one of the most famous.
And what was the
female
other
figures.
one?
Falstaff.
Falstaff. That's a great name.
Who's a
Where's
big,
Falstaff from?
big fat guy from Henry IV.
Nah.
He's a big
Was he
fat jolly
Henry?
guy. No. No, he wasn't Henry. He was Jack Falstaff. But I bring this up because imagine having a memorial in a country that didn't even exist at the time of your death.
Oh, Sydney,
So
Australia.
Sydney, Australia.
Is there any other Sydneys?
I don't think so.
I haven't heard of any.
There's a Melbourne in Florida.
There is.
Wait.
Because they were both
there
named
Melbourne in
after the same
Florida?
guy. Yeah, Melbourne, Florida. They're
Yeah.
both named after the Queen's buddy, who was a Lord.
Lord
guy.
Melbourne.
Lord
That's
of
pretty
Melbourne,
interesting that Australia didn't exist yet.
And then we have a statue to him.
Oh,
That's
well,
just,
okay.
That's just how
Hang on.
influential he is.
Australia existed.
But not as Australia.
White settlement hadn't
Yeah, that's
happened.
right. Well, it just wasn't called.
It wasn't called
Australia.
Australia yet. Yeah.
Sydney wasn't called Sydney.
The way it is now.
So, yeah, why did they do that? They're just big fans.
Well, just that I just wanted to point out how influential he is.
Everyone's a fan.
He's got memorials all over the world.
Oh, yeah. I think people know who he is. I reckon he's got real
Wow,
good
mate.
brand recognition.
That was real deep.
Yeah.
I reckon
His brand is
people know who he is. Yeah.
I reckon his brand is worth multi-billions. There is a famous scene from Hamlet where Hamlet talks to Yorick, who is a dead court jester whose skull has been exhumed by a gravedigger, and he holds the skull and talks to it. Polish pianist Andrzej Tchaikovsky, not to be confused with the composer Tchaikovsky, donated his skull to the Royal Shakespeare Company for use in theatrical productions, hoping that it would be used as the skull of Yorick.
Ew.
It was used in rehearsal, this is in the 80s, but not for performances, until in 2008, Tchaikovsky's skull was used by David Tennant, former Doctor Who actor who was playing Hamlet, in the Royal Shakespeare production, in Stratford-upon-Avon.
Oh, yuck.
When there was a lot of controversy
No.
around it, it was later announced that the skull had been replaced because people were focusing not on the play, but people were thinking, that's a real skull. That's a real fucking skull. Oh, my God.
That's gross. As the actor, I'd be like, ugh.
But that was untrue, however. They continued to use the real skull. They just didn't want people being distracted by it anymore.
So they told them they were just using...
No, we swapped it out. But David Tennant was probably still like, no, I want this for...
Because I'm a weirdo.
Oh, that's gross.
And the skull was later used as a prop throughout the run of the production after it moved to London's West End.
What if they dropped it?
Oh, that would... Oh,
Just get another one.
Glue the teeth back in.
Oh! Ugh.
The Guinness Book of World Records lists 414 feature-length film and TV versions of William Shakespeare's plays as having been produced, making Shakespeare the most filmed author ever in any language.
Kenneth Branagh actually stars in 1,700 of those, which is more than there actually are. So, yeah.
There you go. Got Kenneth Branagh.
Once again, imagine being the most filmed person in a medium that wasn't even existing for hundreds of years until after he died.
Wow.
IMDb lists Shakespeare as having writing credits on 1,171 films. The first was King John, filmed in 1899.
1899.
There you go.
Wow,
What?
that's one of the first...
One of the first films ever.
One of the first feature films is supposedly the Ned Kelly one.
The Ned Kelly.
Filmed in Melbourne, which was like 1890-something as well, I think.
Whoa.
But it makes sense that one of the
So that
first
was
things
one
ever
of the-
filmed
yeah, that's
would be
true.
Shakespeare.
Yeah, that
did he
definitely does.
did he get a writing credit for 10 Things I Hate About You?
Yeah, what
Oh, The
about that?
Taming of the Shrew.
Yeah.
He probably would on IMDb, I imagine. It would say written by, loosely based on
Yep.
William Shakespeare. Now we're going to finish on the words he created. We've been alluding to a few of these, Jessica, etc. throughout the show. He invented over 1,700 of our common words by changing nouns into verbs, changing words into adjectives, connecting words never before used together, and adding prefixes and suffixes, and devising words wholly original. So some of them were just completely pulled out of thin air. Some of the words he invented include countless,
Oh.
gloomy, addiction, bubble,
Oh, good one.
That's a great word.
assassination,
Oof.
bet,
Not as good.
Gambler.
There we go. Yeah, you're right.
hobnob,
Oh, fuck yeah. He invented the bickies. Yum.
Hobnobbing with the...
the bickies, blood-stained,
Oh, well,
That's how he died, isn't it?
2 words,
No,
I
that was
guess.
someone else.
laughable,
Oh.
lonely,
Oh. Jess Perkins.
Laughable and lonely. The Jess Perkins story.
Olympian, failed Olympian, the Matt Stewart story, torture to death, the Dave Warnke story, mimic, negotiate, and my personal favourite, eyeball.
Eyeball.
Tim.
That's all him.
Wow.
That's Willie Shakes.
What did people see
Willie
with before then?
Shakes.
He just felt.
He invented
Just
the
felt
eyeball.
around.
I didn't. I feel like that. I would have led with that.
Yeah.
With
I
eyeball.
wouldn't have talked about his silly little plays.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the fact that he invented eyeballs.
Shakespeare,
Yeah,
the most
bloody
famous
hell.
optometrist in history.
Wow.
I'd love to. Maybe we can do this on the social medias during the week. But I'd love to see a bit of a list of modern movies that are based on his stories.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Because I just thought of. Because I remember hearing about 10 Things I Hate About You, but there must be a bunch of them.
Now I want to go and read, because I haven't read The Taming of the Shrew, so now I want to read it and see if I can find pick up the plot similarities.
You'll probably notice Act 3 opens with, I love you, baby, and if it's quite alright, I love you, baby. Well, that must be Nigel with the brie. That's from that film, isn't it?
I know you can be overwhelmed, and you can be underwhelmed, but can you ever just be whelmed? I think you can in Europe.
Come on, Matt. Give us one. You know this movie?
I heard he ate a frog or something like that.
Great, nailed it.
He's from Australia. Hey, we're going paintballing.
Oh, come
I'm
on,
in the.
Matt.
If she's got black underwear, she's got it to
Shorts.
be seen or something like
Sure.
that.
Not true, it's just practical. Does the Taming of the Shrew end with letters to Cleo standing on top of a school building singing Cruel to Be Kind? No, I Want You to Want Me? Which song is it they sing?
Oh, they
I Want
sing
You to Want
both.
Me.
Like,
Yeah, they do.
Both ring a bell.
Through both.
What were their
through
names?
credits. Letters to Cleo.
So that is William Shakespeare, and we must say a big, big thank you to the man, the magic that is Rowan Epstein for suggesting that. Our first Sydney Scheinberg Deluxe Package recipient of the
What a
Golden Hat
gun.
Award for
Thanks so
excellence.
much, Rowan.
Tip of
you
the hat,
big
thank you.
stud. And that's something that people don't realise as well. Only big studs go into the Sydney Scheinberg level, and Rowan is no exception. Huge stud. Muffin.
You know who else who might be studs, muffins, or otherwise than that? Is some other Patreon patrons. All right, so I'd like to do a big shout out this week and a thank you. One of our original Patreon pledges, and that is, I assume, the man, the magic, or the magic, the man, that is James Sutton.
James Sutton. Sutton, good egg. I was trying to go for Sutcher.
Suttonly 30.
Fuck, that's better. Matt looked at me so disappointed just then.
I'm just really enjoying your weird husky laugh.
It's pretty great. I hope it never leaves.
What's Sutton's story? Did you look him up?
What do you want me to do? We Google each listener? Right,
What's he-
I'm
what's
going to
he
type
all
in
about?
James Sutton into Google.
See who he is.
James, this one's for you. James Sutton. Actor. An English actor known for playing John Paul McQueen in the British Channel 4 soap opera Hollyoaks.
Hollyoaks, I've heard of that.
cool.
And also
Well done.
Ryan Lamb in Emmerdale.
Oh, they're a couple of
and
the big
he
ones.
listens to
Well done,
us.
James. Oh,
Thanks so
personal
much.
life.
Hello.
He's an avid fan of Liverpool FC. In January 2015, it was announced that Sutton had become engaged to marry his girlfriend, model
Hello.
Kit Williams.
Told you, a big
Does it
stud.
say anything in there about listening to podcasts?
His favourite podcasts include The Weekly Planet and Do Go On.
That's a Weekly Planet. Meso's
He's a great
show.
guy.
Awesome. All right, great. Well,
Very
that's
cool.
good.
So thank you, James Sutton, for your pledge. Though if you are a millionaire actor, you could probably pledge a little bit more. Am I right? Hollyoaks probably doesn't pay that well, though, does it? All right. So thank you, James.
What's
Next,
that, Hollyoaks?
I'm passing the laptop round to Jess Perkins to thank someone here.
Okay. Okay, yes. Okay. We also obviously need to thank a man and a legend who likes to stand on mountains and just look off wistfully
Is that based on a profile picture or just a feeling you get?
Just a feeling. And a profile picture. And that is, of course, the wonderful Alex Cossey.
Oh, Cossey.
Thanks, Alex.
Thanks,
Alex.
Alex. Cossey.
You don't have to pass me the computer because I remember my pledge's name off the top of my head.
Matt just knows them all. He knows you all.
Yeah, no, I don't need the computer because I remember them all off the top of my head.
Mm-hmm.
And today's one, I'm filled with pride to get to read out her name because she's one of the bloody best.
Really?
There's no doubt about that.
Wowzers.
It's Hannah Scollard.
Oh, Hannah.
Oh, a scholar of the highest art.
Yeah, she's
Oh
the
my
best.
God,
She's
Dave.
one of the best listeners we've got, and I'm so bloody proud to get to thank her today
Oh.
for everything she's done for us. Thanks so much, Hannah. You are a legend.
And
Also-
the world.
Remember that time she had a cameo on Hollyoaks?
Yeah, remember that?
That was quite a great episode. James Sutton, Hannah together at last. You too can contribute to our Patreon and have your name read
You
out.
can contribute to our Patreon.
No, they definitely can.
Bono.
Hey,
Bono.
now there's fucking someone who can contribute more than $5 a
Yeah,
month.
the
Bono.
Edge. Oh, the Edge has
Yeah.
got money coming out of his bloody
Wazoo.
tight-fitting beanie.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you were going to say his bloody urethra.
Why would I say that?
It
would be distasteful.
that would be a sign of riches, though, wouldn't it?
Right on the edge
Pissing
of his
money.
urethra.
Yeah. If you're pissing money, you've either got a problem or you're a billionaire.
Or both.
I'd say that's a good
Possible.
problem to have.
But you too can be like you too by contributing to our Patreon, patreon.com/dogoonpod. The weekend just gone, we released our first ever Patreon only episode, and we're going to be releasing one of those every single month. So get on board if you want to hear some extra talking
And jump in before the 15th of December if you want to get a Christmas card.
with Dave Warnicki's toe print.
It'll be so good.
Also, obviously, you can talk to us on all the classics, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I think they're all
At Do Go On Pod.
and if you get a chance and you're at all inclined, it would be so cool if you could leave us a little review on the iTunes.
That's really
We're
nice.
currently at 69
On the Australian iTunes.
on the 69 reviews on the Australian iTunes, which kind of makes me not want anyone to do it. But
Sure.
please, just get us off that and get us off 69.
No, what I
style,
think we'd like to do-
and we can just keep moving on with our lives.
I'd like to encourage you to simultaneously do 200 reviews, so we are 269. I think that would be a much cooler number.
Why?
269. 269. That'd be cool.
Yeah, okay.
And we get 200 fucking reviews out of it.
No, that'll definitely help, for sure. So if you guys could
We'd
get
be number
together,
one.
all 200 of you, and just go reviewing.
There are more than 200 reviews, so why do we only have 69 reviews? We should have 2,069. And that's only just the start. 2 million? 69 million.
All he can do is undersell or oversell a number. Just did not have any inclination to go anything accurate there, which I like. Playing it close to his chest.
That's right. Of the 69 million
That was
Listeners.
closer, obviously.
we have. Thank you very much for listening, and until next week, I will say goodbye. Oh, thanks a lot. Fucking back me up here. Fine, you won't get to say goodbye.
No, laters.
Bye!